Oh yeah, I mean, I cannot imagine the world without internet right now.
Seriously. So we are on Con Todo Talk. This is a series that's mostly about partner dancing, all things partner dancing. We do some other stuff as well. We just came off of a super cool podcast hour with Eric and Encarna doing flamenco, and
Wow.
I've got flamenco in my ears. Should I call you Super Mario? Should I call you Mario?
Mario is good. Mario is good. Super Mario is just a flyer name. You know what I mean? It's like a poster name. So my name is Mario. So you can call me Mario.
Now, Mario, we've never met, I don't think, but I've heard about you for years in just as a figurehead in the salsa community, someone that really had an effect on the scene. I know that I'm a huge fan of your social dancing and your approach to dance. From what I hear, you teach a mean class. And I'm just excited to have you on the show. I've looked forward to it for a while now. Tell me
Give me one second. I just got that thing now. What am I supposed to do?
So you're gonna, I think,
sent a message. She sent me a message.
I think you're gonna approve it. We're both non-tech savvy. We are.
Okay.
I think you're gonna approve it. And then just turn the volume down and you're good to go. Non-tech savvy.
Got it. It's all done. I think we're going live too right now.
We're there.
Yes.
Hallelujah, brother.
We good. Okay. Now, sorry to interrupt.
So where are you from? How'd you start dancing?
No, that's okay. Currently, I live in London. I've been there for about 31 years now, but I'm originally from India. So we moved to London way back for my further education. So I came to London, being a typical Indian, kept the family happy, did my education, got myself 2 degrees. And during the last year of my first degree, I started dancing salsa.
Was
some friend just took
engineering?
What?
Was one of those?
No, mathematics.
Mathematics, okay.
Close.
What is it about those high intellect degrees in partner dancing? There seems to be a correlation.
People have always asked me about this correlation, yes, and honestly, I have no idea. I know one thing in life. I can never remember people's names, but I never forget a person. So, for example, if I saw you 25 years from now with a different haircut or whatever, I'll remember that I've seen you. I will never remember where, how, when, what your name is, but so something to do with photogenic memory. I don't know. So and creativity, anybody can do it. I always teach my students that. I teach my students how to be creative. So it's nothing special about what I do. It's just that I think a little differently, and I pass that on to people also. When we're dancing. So my classes, my students get my philosophy. How did you
get into salsa dancing?
So this was in 1998. Yeah, 1998. I was in my last year of my first degree, and of course, somebody broke my heart, and my best friend decided to take me out to a salsa club. I never danced in my life, and I used to be, 50 kilos bigger than I am right now. So I was huge. I was humongous, and I got there, and I'm like, "What are we doing here?" He's like, "Oh, we're taking a class." I'm like, "What class?" He got dance class. I'm like, "What dance?" It's salsa. I'm like, "What is that?" Never heard of it before in my life. But that 1 hour in that class, I forgot everything that I had, all the problems, who I was, where I was, the size. It didn't matter. People accepted me very nicely in that scene. And I felt very comfortable, because I was very uncomfortable in the real world, being big and stuff. That's why I put all my my whole focus on education, But in this place, I found solace. I found okay, this is where I go to hide. This is where I go to blow out all the steam. And there was no racism, no sizeism, no nothing. Everybody accepted everybody, and it was a good place for everybody to be. So I decided to start dancing, and it just went on from there.
What did you learn in your first class?
Oh, really? Okay, so can I say the whole story if you want?
Sure.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah. So me and my friend, we were just having a chat about what happened in the relationship, and a little lady walks up to us, and she's like, "Oh, you boys are new here," and I'm like, "Yeah," and she looked at me and she said, oh, you got women problems, haven't you? I went, what? She goes, ah, don't worry, salsa will change all that, you know? And I went, okay, whatever. And she ended up being the instructor of the class. I always like to give a shout out to her name because she's somebody I'm very thankful to. Her name was Eli Galvani. She was a Greek lady. And she was a teacher in the class. And she started breaking down some steps, and I just couldn't do it to save my life. Because every time she was doing we used to call it the cumbia step back then, you know? So she would do 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I would do 1, 2, 3 and stand on that foot and not be able to move again. So I didn't know weight transfers. So everything I did was all one-sided. So any step they taught me, I would just do one side of it and just wait and wonder what. I was the dumbest student I've ever seen in my life. Like I've had classes afterwards. I've never seen people. There are people who are bad with timing, whatever, but I've never seen anybody do what I did. And then it was very frustrating, but that frustration kept that time going, you know. And because of that, it was a very comfortable place for me to be because it made me forget things. And so after the class, it was really bad. I mean, the class was really bad for me. And after the class was over, she walks up to me and she goes like, hey, what's your name? I said, my name is Mario. And she said, Mario, I think you're going to be a great dancer in the future. And she said, you know what? Just keep coming to class. You don't have to pay anymore. And I was a student, broke, working in KFC. I had no money for anything. I had to take care of my family too, you know. And so I started going to classes for free. I never paid for a salsa lesson in my life. My friend paid my first one and the second, third, and it just continued as free classes. So what happened in the beginning was I never had to rush into levels and stuff. So I just took my time. I was in the beginner class for like 12 weeks. I was in the intermediate class for like 2 years. And everybody rushes to get to the advanced class. I was just the opposite. I was just doing everything in very basic format because I didn't have to pay. I had no pressure. You know what I mean? So that's how I started my class. And 2 years later, she asked me to teach a class for her. And that's how I went in front of a group of people and we bonded, and I loved it. They loved it. We all loved it. And she asked me to start teaching for her. And it just gone on from there.
Sometimes when I'm teaching or just listening to students talk about stuff, you're really made aware of these life-changing moments where someone will to pull a little tab off of a piece of paper on a bus stop with a
Taking over, yeah.
Or whatever, and they don't realize that they're turning a corner, and there's going to be years of their life that are going to be spent.
Absolutely. I was one of those people, without a problem. I can say that.
I don't think I'm imagining this either. Sometimes students do walk in, and you'll have this little flash of like, I really think this person is going to keep on dancing.
Absolutely.
Little moment, or you'll see. Maybe that was what that teacher was talking about to you. You'll see someone who you feel like you can see that they need it. You can see that it's going to have a place in their life, whether it is that they just broke up or just for some
any problem. Yeah. I got goosebumps right now because it is the truth. It is absolutely the truth. I don't know what it is that sometimes I see a bunch of people, like 20, 30 people in a new class, and I know 3 of those are going to be there for a lifetime, you know? And it's good encouragement as well because, you know, I don't do free classes for them anymore because I've got my fingers burnt with that. But I just pay a little bit more attention to those people who have that extra, you know, something that I see in them. So,
how do you teach creativity to your students? I want to preface that question by like the creativity aspect to any of these forms is always like, it seems like it's your worst enemy in a way, and it's your best friend because people, obviously that's what they want. Most people want to experience that creativity within it. But at the same time, there's so many years, thousands of hours of like drilling just rhythm and the minutia, right? How do you approach teaching creativity to students? And I'm actually curious about both up through the levels, like beginners versus coaching someone who's on a professional team, right?
Okay, these are 2 questions. I'm going to answer them 2 different ways. Okay. The first one is the creative part. The first thing I always tell people is like, there's nothing special about what I do. Okay. I want to share that experience with them. So I'm a mathematician. So everything is done through data collection, talking to people, experiencing, using formulas, experiences, experiments. So there was about 10 years ago, I did an experiment where I wanted to see how to get what's in here to those people. The first thing I did, and I have to separate this into two parts. There's festivals that I do every weekend. I teach a class on a stage with hundreds of people below the stage. And then I have my classes in London. I'm talking about my classes in London because in a festival, I get an hour, not enough time. People want some new material. I go up there, I show them something new, teach them how to do it, go practice. That is the festival part. So I cannot talk creativity in festival because I don't have enough time. The experimental part is in my classes in London. From a very early stage of our learning, the first thing I do is, this is very important, and I think a lot of teachers should start doing this without being afraid. If you really care about creating creative dancers, stop filming in classes. I don't film classes in London. Nobody in my classes film. We didn't when we were learning. So back in the days, everything was through here. Whatever the teacher said was the way it was. We have to practice it. We have to use it, analyze it, work it, whatever it is. So I don't film classes. I don't let people film classes either. So what this does for me, it makes people come on time. It makes people listen. It makes people want to go out there and remember things. So they will go out and practice it. There's a lot of benefits for not filming, okay? When you let people film, they come late to class, they don't concentrate, they don't practice because they have it in the back of their pockets and, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what I do, that gives me a lot of freedom to repeat things. So when we tell people technique is everything, technique is not something you speak. Technique is something you have to work. So I work with technique all the time. I repeat the things all the time. If you don't like it, I'm the wrong teacher for you. I'm okay with people leaving. That doesn't bother me either. I just do things my way, which is we drill. And I'm not talking about different drillings. I'm talking about the same thing done a million times. And then once they get the base of that drill, then I show them, okay, if you change it from your right hand to your left hand, you get this variation. If you do it there and put it below, you get there. And then they start seeing that one simple thing that we've done so many times can create so many variations. That's how we learned our things. And the way people see it, once they get that, okay, and now I know what he's trying to do. My students from London, when they go to a festival, they don't stand after class and make films and videos and stuff like that. It's got to be done through that. And also another thing I tell them, everything they learn or experience in a different class from a different instructor, just take 2% of that class or maybe 5% of that class, not the whole combination. Take the class. There's going to be one part that you like. It could be just a little hand flick or a finger flick or anything. And that's it. Take something that you like, take it out to the dance floor, practice it. That's what I do. So when I'm dancing, for me, I have a beautiful wife who dances wonderfully at home, but we don't practice. We don't do anything with salsa at all whatsoever at home. Everything I do comes from the social dance floor. So for example, I'd be dancing with somebody and by mistake, something happens and I'm like, wow, I like that. That's it. The next 30, 40 girls are going to get that something that I just tried with the first girl. And I practice with that social. They never know that I'm experimenting or trying something new, but it's something that I'm doing for myself. If it works among 30, 40 girls, then I teach it. So this is the process I use for creativity. So all my students in London do exactly what I do on the social dance floor, which is take a small piece that you like, practice with a million girls. And if you like it, it stays inside you. It becomes part of your dance. There's a lot of things people do on the social dance floor that don't realize it originated from me in London. And the reason they keep doing it in their dance is because they like that part. You know what I mean? It's not because it's fancy or it could be the simplest thing ever, but they do it because they like that part. And they threw away the rest that I taught in the class that it probably got from YouTube or Facebook or whatever. So they took one part, they deleted the rest. They don't realize they do that. But that's what I coach.
It's an interesting point, and filming is an interesting dichotomy. I thought of while you were talking. I thought of a lot of things. One is that there is so much. I agree with you about the filming thing, because there's so much material out there that if you want to learn just via material, it's easy. You just go to YouTube,
Go online, and yeah.
you can just watch it. I'm kind of the opinion, I've always been, in terms of my business, I always wanted to move towards where everything was absolutely open sourced, where it was filmed, where the class was just filmed and broadcast live. And we were actually moving towards that when COVID hit, to actually just broadcasting everything. I never really cared if people filmed or not, but I don't think I spent too much time thinking about the side that you were talking about there, which is that sometimes the filming of it doesn't increase the evolution of the dance. We were talking to the flamenco couple earlier, and they were talking about that kind of like the oral history, right? Of it's something being passed down, and you do value things when it's just that moment, and you actually really do learn. It's a very effective what you're saying is a really effective learning tool to not film. I don't know how it would go over here or in our world, but it's certainly really, really cool to.
You know what you should do? I can suggest something to you. So, for example, let's just say you have a group of a class, a group class. You allow filming. Maybe they take classes 4 times in a month. Let's just say once a week. Okay, assuming they take once a week, so they have 4 a month, right? Tell them 3 classes, you run it as normal. The 4th class or the last class, just say, we're going to try something. We're not going to film this class. I bet you any money, you go out and watch them social dancing. They'll be practicing the last class that you never let them film. Try it.
True. Yeah, you're gonna run to the side and quickly start practicing.
Practice, and you practice that forever.
What value is there in, or how much value is there, right, in that repetition of that one thing over and over again for you as a teacher?
I don't repeat the move itself. I won't repeat the part that they like. I'll repeat all the parts that you would need to be able to do that correctly. So, for example, if there's a turn I call a pizza turn, where you rotate your wrist, okay? And let's just say the combination that they like has that pizza turn in it, okay? I wouldn't practice it from that move. I'll practice it externally for it. So I'll keep training them how to do the pizza turn outside of that combo. You know what I mean? And then what happens is I will show them now, okay, so this is what we did in June. Now in July, I'm going to show you something else related to that pizza turn. You will know a turn for yourself and maybe a turn for me. I might give the lady a double turn with the pizza. I will use that same technique and formulate that into various moves over the next 2-3 months, kind of thing.
Now you got to be aware. I'm in Seattle, so if you say give the lady a turn, it's sometimes punishable by up to a year in prison. Now Seattle culture, it changed. And I know like the dance industry sort of changes, and here definitely over the last 4 years, everyone kind of transitioned to like strictly saying leads follows and not ladies or gentlemen. And mostly it was, at least in our school, out of just necessity, because we had so many girls leading, so many guys following. It wasn't even a political correctness thing. It was mostly just like it didn't make sense anymore. But
everything's got to make sense. Everything you say, everything that comes out of your mouth. I don't have a dance partner.
Yeah,
I told you my wife's a beautiful dancer, but we just social dance. She's not even my teaching partner. We don't teach together. She teaches her own class. I teach my own class. You know, so the girls, to get respect from a girl that a big guy from India is going to teach you how to dance salsa is very important. So to create that kind of interest, you have to talk sense. You know what I mean? I tell the girls, the moment they step into my class, I tell them, like, if you want to learn salsa, how to be a beautiful follower, a light follower, and you want a line of guys after 3 years of your studying, I can teach you that. If you want to look good,
guys. But what? Okay, so I have to ask you this now, since you're going down it. So what if half your class is guys learning to follow? Because if I'm in your class, I might be taking it as a follow, and I'm like I'm a I guess you could say a cis white male. Like I'm a very straight male, but I would love to take your classes as a follow. So what would you still refer to everyone as? Look,
if you go through the process like everybody does, which is go through your basic class, your beginner class. You want to be a follower, you got to do everything that the follower does. I'm not going to lie to you right now. The best dance I've ever had in my life, the best dances I've ever had in my life was with a guy. I'm going to tell you this YouTube link. Please put it on your this page right now. Write it down. Check it out. It's Super Mario leading a guy. It's the only video we have filmed.
Is that what it's called? It's just Super Mario leading a guy?
Leading a guy.
It doesn't
make
the guy.
It will, how do you say? It will inspire so many people so many guys to follow and so many girls to lead. But unfortunately, he passed away. His name was Lee. And I'm telling you, this guy was really, he made women look stupid. He was light, like this piece of napkin. This is heavy. That's how much technique that guy worked on, you know? And he was an incredible, but he did the right things. He learned how to be a follower from the basics. He didn't just go, I can do a turn here. Let me go to the advanced class. No, it didn't work. He did everything. He learned everything from both sides. And that's what people need to do, because some people just think because I can nail a double turn faster than a woman can do it, that I'm really good. I can go to the advanced class. Now, what's happening in the advanced class, you just learn patterns. You just become a pattern monkey. So you probably follow in class. But when you go social dancing, you have no idea what you're doing. You know what I mean? Or we have the other spectrum where you have a guy who wants to follow, but he wants to be more decorative. You know what I mean? He just wants to be able to show that he's better than the other women. Wrong. It's a wrong competition. You know, everybody has some uniqueness. You don't want to be trying to compete against that. Be yourself. So the only thing that Lee did, he probably looked very boring, but watch that video and write me your opinion, okay? Or share it with your students. I'm
looking forward to seeing it, Mario. You know, you had touched on the and this isn't the focus of this talk, but you had talked about, you know, being a bigger person in the dance world. I am always fascinated by bigger bodied people in dancing, because there's often, for one thing, I don't want to generalize by saying they, but like I know so many larger people that are fantastic dancers. And sometimes I feel like the energy required to transfer weight, because there has to be more energy. Once people who are larger get it, they really understand that transfer of weight, because
absolutely.
Right? Tell me about what your thoughts are. I keep on hitting this table.
The good thing about being big is our center of gravity is huge. You know what I mean? So a smaller person has a smaller circle below them. A bigger guy has a bigger circle around them. So our center and our middle has more space. We have more time, you know? And if you learn, it's not even about the transferring of weight transfer. It's more about the timing of being able to shift. You know what I mean? For you, it's a weight transfer. For me, it's the timing. As in, like, if within that center of gravity, if that person knows how to use the timing well, that's it. That's all. That's the key. And, you know, they know how to use that center of gravity. Like John Lindau from West Coast Swing.
Man, one of my favorite dancers. Amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing. You got to see my intermediate teacher. He's twice as big as me. I mean, poor guy, his knees are falling outwards. That's how big he is. But man, when he danced, it was like you're cutting butter with a knife. He was my inspiration to, I didn't feel bad about being big, you know? It's like he was, and his brother too. Both of them are called the Charlemagne brothers. And they are incredible dancers. And this inspired me. And I know I've done this to a lot of people, because I get messages from people all the time like, hey, Mario, you're such a big guy. I'm a big guy too, but thanks for inspiring me. I get these messages from people, you know, and I'm happy to say that I'm passing on what I got from other people, you know, and it's all about the social dance. I just learned how to make that transition fast. So I used to go to New York from London and take classes with Mr. Eddie Torres. And he was also quite big. You know what I mean? So I understood by watching Eddie Torres's feet and all his shines that, you know, he knew how to use that space below him. People were watching all his fancy footwork. I was seeing what he was doing in the center. Mathematician, you know what I mean? So I was watching the physics side of the dance, you know, and it made a lot of sense how to use the transfer of the center, you know.
Talk to me a little bit about that that transfer of weight, maybe from the perspective or context of someone who's larger. But how do you express or explain how a transfer of weight happens? Do you articulate it as a movement of like the body to get over the foot? Are you pressing with a supporting leg to get you onto another leg? All of the above? You know, what's your magic sauce?
It's what you just said is part of it. But I always draw a picture to them. I always say to them, like, draw a circle below you, okay? And this circle is your home. You need to come back home at some point of the song. If it's a slow song, you come home slower. If it's a fast song, you come home faster. This is baby talk, you know what I mean? Without making people feel stupid. It's a general thing I say to people in class. And obviously the big guy is always feeling bad. He's always at the back of the class, and you know, he probably doesn't understand what I said because he's more concentrating about what people are thinking about him and that kind of stuff. So I literally spend a little time with these people. I take them to the side, I explain to them what it means, and some people get it, some people don't. But I don't expect that. That's with everybody, not just big guys, you know. And so the coming back home part, I tell them, okay, you know what? Some people come back home instead of 3, they come back home on 4. Instead of 5, they come back home on 7. You know, it's lack of timing, which everybody has, right? But I tell them, like, if you're going out of the home is a big step out, it will take you a longer time to come back in. So I draw little pictures about those transfers. I teach them how to use the balls of their foot, you know, how to press down on the ground, how instead of stepping your whole foot forward, I tell them, like, you don't step, you just land on the ball of your foot. Don't put your heel down. If you put your heel down, laziness, you won't be able to come back home. If you use the ball of your foot, you can kick back to come back home. So we practice a lot of ball training also. So people are pretty much on their balls most of the time. So we make girls spin on their balls without using their feet down. Yeah, a lot of things. We also get bigger ladies who cannot do turns or are too scared or too embarrassed or whatever, you know. Again,
How much of a factor is that as a larger person? How much of a factor is that kind of like that expectation or the being viewed and being watched and the self-consciousness of it? How much
that's the problem. It's the consciousness that makes people, everybody has the same brain. Everybody has the same capacity to learn. We are all in the same class listening to the same information, but that bigger person is worried about what everybody else is thinking. So they're losing information because of their consciousness. You know what I mean? But if you make everybody equal in class, if you make everybody think like, look, this big guy can dance, so can you, you know? Or I have bigger students who I will literally drag the biggest woman I know, and I will show them how light she is when she's dancing, you know? Things like that. You've got to inspire people to think outside of their zone, because I was there. But what happened with me is I forgot my size when I went to class, because it was like, wow, you know, it's like, I want people to experience that same wow. So I will do everything and anything to make them feel comfortable and make them forget to watch other people, you know? And it's usually the problem. The problem is what is in their mind. It's not what they can and cannot do. Talking about it, you guys live in the West Coast. One of my favorite dancers, and she's huge, Leslie Washington. She used to be in Los Angeles. I mean, this girl was big, you know, I'm talking bigger than big, but man, when she danced, oh my God, you just couldn't feel her because she understood what I understood, you know, and she's amazing. She's a beautiful, beautiful follower.
I would love to see, well, I'm looking forward to seeing more and more people of various sizes and shapes in the limelight.
It's for everybody. It's for everybody. Everybody should do it, you know?
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the culture in London and how you started teaching. You told me how you started teaching there, but like, how did you start growing your Mario community, I guess you'd say?
You know, when I start a class in London, nobody knows who I am. They don't even care. And I don't use that to promote myself. I'm like, whatever, you know, you want to learn salsa, I'm there for you. They come to the class, then they know this guy knows what he's talking about. That's my selling point once they come to me. You know what I mean? I don't sell myself first to bring people in. But then you got the other side of the spectrum where you have people who know me and they want to learn from me. Now, for me, this relationship between people who know me and want to learn from me doesn't work so well because they've come with all the bad habits, other people's techniques, things that they don't understand. If I say something, they don't know what my terminologies are, you know. I prefer to take people from the bottom up.
Well, let's talk terminology here. I'm fascinated by something I read about you, that you had really pioneered, or you were the first person to use some terms. And it's interesting as teachers, because we can coin a phrase, like we can say this is this. Like, for instance, I started calling you know if you give someone a hammer lock and you've got your right hand on their hip and you've got your left hand up, and then you give them a copa off of that where you're stretching the arm out. I started calling it a ring check copa because you could check and see if they were wearing a ring. It sucked. So then students later would go to a class and they'd be like, oh yeah, that's a ring check copa, a different class from mine.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's a ring check copa, right? But you put together some terms that have stood the test of time from what I understand. What are some of those terms?
Oh my God, I have no idea. I mean, I know the thing we call a pizza turn. Look, I'll tell you something. I started in 98. The first festival I thought was in 2000. It was the third festival to be held in the world. Okay. So people didn't know what classes were. We were taking this dance to Europe, you know, and things like that. And we had to phrase a few things together. Then I made my DVD. In the DVD, I wanted to make sure that my DVD came out in 2000 as well. So we had to use a certain term that generalized everything. Like there's something called a backhand drop that a lot of people use. I just decided to call it because I dropped the hand on the back of my neck. The pizza turn was because somebody said it looked like somebody was carrying a box of pizza. Then you guys call copas, we used to call it the in and out. Because in Europe, copa in many languages there means shit. So we decided.
I never thought of that. Okay.
So we decided not to use the word because, you know, it was stupid. You know, like, what does cup mean with this move? It has no relevance to a cup whatsoever if it was Spanish.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If somebody just decided like a ring check copa, somebody said, oh, let's call it a copa, and it stood the test, you know. But we started calling it the in and out because we bring the lady in, we send the lady out. You know, it was a very simple thing that made sense. So in Europe, we don't say copa much. We say the in and out a lot. I don't know about the US anymore, but things like that, you know, and that's all I know of. I don't know anything else because I don't name names. You know, I just have my typical single turns, double turns, traveling turns, you know, those kind of things, you know, and the pizza is one of those things that I use a lot, the name.
Back in the day of DVDs, I remember my favorite DVD was that Frankie Martinez Body Isolation DVD.
Yeah, he brought a different.
I remember I got that DVD, and then I got Sekou McMiller's 5 parts to like his Afro-Cuban rumba like breakdown. And I was thinking about those when you were talking about filming, because I took just those 2 DVDs and I watched them, and I did them every single day for like 2 years. And I'd like watch just one of his shoulders, and I'd be like, oh, I see what he's doing with the shoulder, or I think I do. And then the next day I'd add like a little bit extra to it. And I feel like those DVDs really, really did help me dance.
Absolutely, yeah.
DVDs.
But you know, the difference is people these days would never spend more than 10 minutes watching a DVD. So you spend 2 years learning something, Frank. No, can you put your hand on heart and tell me people can spend that much time these days?
Dude, people don't. I mean, first of all, they're not DVDs anymore.
Well, you know, it's still.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. No one would sit around. Few of my students would sit around right now because mostly they don't have time. Like people work. You know, most of my students are tech people, and
you didn't work when you were learning.
What's that?
When you spent 2 years learning. When you were spending 2 years learning that body movement, were you not working?
So the thing was, I wasn't. I was a full-time musician, right? So I was a touring musician. So, you know, I practiced guitar for 6 hours or whatever, and then as I got into salsa, I would put that DVD on. I remember doing it like in front of someone's computer and just working on every single. I loved that DVD. It doesn't exist anymore. Frankie, somehow it got discontinued. You can't
You
find.
know what? Again, they're scared. I go every week. I sell about 40 DVDs still.
Like
Every week, I still physically from my bag to people.
amazing.
You know, it's like I deliberately don't want to put stuff online. I don't want to run a platform to stream. I don't want to do those things. I deliberately want to keep people, you know, you want to learn something, learn it the hard way. Buy yourself a DVD player, go home, put it in there, practice it with somebody. You know, I deliberately want that. I don't want people just to go online because they're bored at work to see something Mario's done so they can go home tonight and practice it with somebody on the dance floor. No, I want them to literally get a person to their house, sit in front of a TV, learn how to do it, learn, listen. I do that on purpose, you know.
What's London like in terms of salsa dancing?
We are definitely one of the best social dancing cities in the planet. Social dancing. We don't have a single dance team. We don't focus on performances. We don't do any of that kind of stuff. It's all social dancing only. We have some amazing DJs that originate from London, and we have almost four nights of good social dancing in London. We really have an amazing social dancing scene. Really good, very attached with each other. So we promote each other's parties. We have no politics there. We have no time for that kind of rubbish. There's 12 million people. There's enough for everybody. Why waste time? You know, you like me, come to my class. You like him, go to his class. We are okay about all those kind of things. As a matter of fact, I encourage all my students. I tell them, look, what comes out of my mouth is not the only thing that's correct about salsa. What comes out of somebody else's mouth will make more sense to you. You know, like your ring check copa, you know, for example, I probably wouldn't teach it the way you do it, but go learn from everybody. Find yourself the comfort place, the comfort zone. That's your teacher. Learn from that person. Don't change your teachers every day, every week, because you're just confusing information, you know? And I'm always honest with my people. I always tell them that's the way to do
it. The scene in London, you said that it's mostly based around social dancing. So it's not, I mean, because in most of the cities in the States, you've got lots of teams. Seattle, we've got so many different teams.
I remember.
A lot of the teams these days are teams from other cities. So like Atacan Alemana, or someone has like these franchises. For our industries, they're giant franchises, right? What do you think of that process of learning, of like joining a team where the teacher comes in once a month versus picking a local instructor?
I don't care. I'm controversial all the time. Anyway, I'll just say what I think. Salsa is a social dance. I'm not talking about bachata. I don't have any right to talk about bachata. Salsa is a social dance. If you don't physically touch each other and dance with random people in a nightclub or in a party, in a social, you're not learning salsa. If you touch the same hand all the time and learn everything to one song, what's the point in that? You're just hitting accents. You're not even, you're not social dancing. You are waiting to hit an accent. And that practice, you might need to lead the lady faster to get to that accent. You might have to slow her down because she's going too fast to that accent. What are you training? You're going too fast, wrong training. You're going too slow, wrong training. Your timing is wrong. It's wrong training. Social dancing is connection, learn something, practice something, go out there, try with everybody. Put a smile on your face if you can. This is what originally salsa was supposed to be. Then came the dynamics of the stages, and I always tell people, look, you want to perform? I love, great, do it. Okay, but don't bring your performance to the dance floor, because that's a different skill. That skill requires you to be on stage looking good, wearing all these costumes. That's a different skill. Don't come from performance to the dance floor and perform. And don't go from the social dance floor to the stage to do a show, which is what the problem is. Everybody from the social dance floor decided that I want to wear this costume, get on stage, so I got some bonus points, or, you know, stuff like that. And that's where things changed in our salsa world. Everything changed when everybody from here decided to go up there. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I don't watch shows anymore because that's how boring they are. It's irritatingly boring because nothing is inspirational. Everybody looks the same. It's just a song that everyone's changing these days. You know, it's the choreographies are exactly the same. You know, and people don't realize that before. How long have you been dancing, if you don't mind me asking?
You know, I started dancing back in 90, I want to say 99.
Okay, so around 2000.
Yeah, around there.
So you've been to the LA Salsa Congress?
I have never been to the LA Salsa Congress. It's
Okay.
been around forever.
Yes, I know. It's like right around the corner from you too.
I know. For some reason, it was one of the congresses that I never went to. I wish I'd gone to that first one because all of my teammates, I was in a salsa team at the time, and they all went, and they all thought it was amazing. I think I was a broke musician at the time. I probably didn't have enough money.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, so what happened in LA was people trained a lot to be able to get there, to be like, I'm the wow from Seattle, you know. This was in 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002, till about 2003. It was a very, how do you say, hardworking stage. And then it just became like free for all, you know, 75 shows every night and everybody and his mother up there. And it became like, I'm the choreographer and this is my team. I would never do that. You know, Tropical Gem, one of the best teams in the world. Their work ethic, 4 hours training every night, Monday to Thursday, after 10 p.m. So they train from 10 till 2, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. every single day. I would pay money to watch them, you know, but the 44 shows before that, they practice once a week or twice a week. You know, they just worry more about how they're going to look with their costume instead of training the things that they need to be training. You know, it all became a look. And that's the problem we're having right now in our dance. It's more about the look, not the dance itself, you know.
What would you like to see ideally within it? Like, what do you think would make the scene to you, I don't know, better, cooler?
Cut out all this extra bonuses that we have, like, you know, shows and performance. You want to perform, great, but do it get yourself to a Tropical Gems type area. You know what I mean? If you want to do a cabaret show, you know how I say this? If I took my grandmother to a salsa festival, I want her to go like, wow, that's a great team. You know, and not many teams do that anymore. So if you're going to perform, put yourself in a stage where you're going to be like the best you can ever be, which is never. You know what I mean? So train, put yourself in that position, you know. But if you're going to learn,
no, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go.
But if you want to learn salsa as a social dance, if you want to learn salsa for fun or something you want to blow steam off after work or whatever, you know, that's a different thing. Learn to do that. That's a completely different skill set that involves you going to class, seeing people on a regular basis, you know, communicating with them and talking with them, going out for drinks, whatever, then going to dance. You know, this is where I come from. I come from this mindset where, you know, I want millions of people to come to a festival and dance their guts off. You know, I want people to dance from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I still do that. After 22 years of dancing, I still do this on a regular basis. I dance from right after the shows are over at about 11 o'clock till about 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So my students are like, okay, if this guy can do it after this many years, why are we so lazy? You know, so I'm encouraging people to do that. Terry, you know, Terry and Cecile, same mindset. We have the same mindset. We talk a lot, you know, me and him, man, we talk so much that we want everybody to come to the dance floor, social dance floor. You know what I mean? We want people to be tired of this show theme that people are thinking about. I want to look like that to be able to do things here. No, you want to look like Terry? Train like Terry. He dances all night. You want to do my combinations, how I create, dance with a million girls, you know, you will create.
What's your favorite drink?
Drink?
Yeah.
I don't drink alcohol. I'm sorry.
Same.
I've never tried alcohol in my life. So for me, it's a non-alcoholic pina colada because I like coconuts.
You like coconuts?
Yeah.
I've got to say, I love coconuts, but I can't stand pina colada. It's something about that taste of the
pineapple and
it bugs me.
I know. Anybody who hates pina colada says the same thing. So
it tastes like an air freshener smells. I don't know. But our little 8-year-old, she calls them pina koalas.
Koalas.
Yeah, she
nice.
So,
but she's using the word pineapple, so that's good.
Yeah, man. I love what you're saying about social dancing. It's an interesting thing to the industry because the industry is, and this isn't a bad thing. Like it's, to me at least, the Congress scene is supported in the salsa world particularly. It's supported by the teams signing up because they're paying to come to the event, and they make up a large part of the audience, and they make up a large part of the economics of a salsa event versus like a West Coast swing, where you have the Jack and Jill culture. Even their competitions are, it's just social dancing.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night, you're gonna see you know, the superstars do a few routines that are just mind-blowingly good.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. And I fell in love with that world, you know, way back when, because I was dating a famous, I was engaged to a really famous West Coast swing dancer. But the thing that struck me about that world was that they didn't have that giant chunk of teams of performances in the night. And I feel like there could be ways to make that the economics of that better, but I just don't know how exactly, because that's one of the things that's kind of rooted in it. They won't function without it as well.
Look, in Europe right now, we have, I'm not kidding you, we have about 3 or 4 festivals every weekend. I have a choice, or I've been invited to 4 events every weekend. I have to choose one. That's how many festivals we have in UK, in Europe. Yes, I understand what you're saying about economics, the numbers. It doesn't work like that in Europe anymore. They're investing a lot of money on good DJs. What's happened in the last 3 or 4 years now, recently, is the DJs have started playing salsa romantica again.
As opposed to
as opposed to all that dura, fast rubbish that we were hearing 5-6 years ago. Man, we're not machines, you know. We cannot do that all night. And then what happened?
To La Malanga over and over again.
That's a performance song. Don't play that for the social dancer. It doesn't make any sense. There's beautiful versions of La Malanga, much slower. You know, why play the Eddie Palmieri version? It doesn't make any sense. You know. So what happened was, and that coincided with about 6-7 years ago when festivals started moving the bachata people out of there into a different room. So we have less people now. You're playing all this shitty music, and 2 o'clock, the room is empty. The people are tired.
What do you
people just? Huh?
What do you like dancing to? What's your favorite?
For me, it's salsa romantica. Always. Why? It's very easy to connect with people. You're not stressing out about the rhythms. You're not going faster than you should. You know, Huahuanco is very monotone for me. It just stays on one rhythm and then ends, and it's boring for me. But people were playing all this fast stuff, and it was just irritating everybody. So, and the rooms were emptier faster. So we lost a lot of people because of the music. Because people started playing shit that we've never heard in our life. We've never heard in our life. And why? Play stuff that people know. We like it. You know, it's like my students in London, romantica freaks, all of them. You know, and
on 1 and on 2, right? Or is it more on 2?
Oh, it's both. It's both. We dance both. Okay. And so for me, what happened was now festivals are investing money on DJs. And you know what happened? It was a beautiful thing that a guy called Olu did from London in a festival in Croatia, which is one of the world's biggest festivals. He created something called a coffee lounge, where people talk to instructors or DJs or promoters or whatever. And one time he decided to bring all the dancers against all the DJs. We sat across each other and we laid into them. I mean, we are like, what the hell? You know, we're not, blah, blah. We need to hear music, blah, blah. We want to hear stuff that we can dance with people to, not perform to. And everybody gave the DJs rubbish. They were bouncing back with like, oh, but we got to play new stuff. And we were like, no, try that locally. Don't try that in a festival, because people want to dance here, you know? And boom, 2-3 months later, DJs were like, okay, let's see how many of you dance now. And they started playing Mark Anthony, Victor Manuel, Gilberto Santa Rosa. All the teachers were dancing. We didn't do it to prove shit to nobody. Excuse me again. We danced because we fell in love with this dance because of that kind of music, you know? So, and the DJs were like, okay, maybe they just faked this one time. Let's see if they do that the following week. Again, they did it. Again, all the teachers came out and started then. They realized, okay, you know what? This is the change we needed. And this has opened up the social dancing world now. So now what's happening is more people are dancing longer now because the songs are not so fast anymore. And now our parties go until 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and we have people till 6 there. You know, we take how do you call them, after shots, survival shots and all that. So people want to make those. It's become a nice community now. And going back to the requirement of people on the stage to make up the numbers, it doesn't exist anymore because people are like, okay, we're having fun here now. Why do we need that anymore? You know, we've tried that, we've done that. We don't want that anymore. So it's all those things are going away gently. And also then we have El Sol, which is a festival in Warsaw, Poland. For me, it's the best festival for social dancing. I mean, she's already said it. I don't want more than 8 shows on Friday and 8 shows on Saturday. And she only brings the top quality performances out there. Done, dusted, we out of here. Let's go dance. You know, so people are doing things, taking chances now that are making more sense. But I know the requirement of money to be able to create an event. I heard about New York. They used to have like 50, 60 shows every night. You know, it's like numbers.
There are the numbers of shows right now at events. I really want to say that I love the people for putting the time and work into it. And there is huge value in, I think, in someone who maybe never thought they would perform, kind of having an attainable goal performance-wise. I do wish that it was more Jack and Jill gentle competition.
Absolutely, I'm with you on that one.
But I find it fascinating that Europe, from what you're saying, has kind of pulled that off, because it actually is a drawback to American promoters. You have congresses where there are 3-4 hours of shows, where you're having hundreds of shows. And I mean, even if one is great, even if there's tons of them that are great, after you've seen 2 hours of salsa performances, you know, your brain does start to kind of
absolutely. You leave, you don't want to go to shows anymore. You probably come on Friday, sit through 3 hours, and you know Saturday is going to be even worse. I don't want to go watch shows anymore. And who are the people watching shows these days? Are the family and friends of the people on stage? You know, it's not the general. Who are you targeting? I mean, it's not the general social dancers that actually want to watch that many shows. You know what I mean? It's unheard of.
Yeah, some people do love them. Some people absolutely love them, actually. I know some people who are like, no, I go to see the shows. But by and large, the truth is most people that I know don't want to watch the whole show. And they kind of only want to come for the very tail.
The last 5 or 6 shows that are like the special ones, right?
Personally, I think the greatest show or the best shows at those congresses are always happening on the carpet. You know, like
when the people are social dancing.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite like on the carpet experiences?
Oh, I think there's one on YouTube that I really like when I'm dancing with Magna. You recently had her online, right? Magna Gopal.
Yes.
She's crazy. She's crazy. That girl is crazy. You know, I met her before she could dance salsa. Like she just started like 2 or 3 classes, and I used to run away from her. That's how bad she was.
That's amazing. And you guys are of Indian descent too.
Yes. Her mom and me, we always speak in our mother tongue. We're from the same city in India. So
what city?
Magna cannot. I come from a city called Chennai, which is in India, the South India.
Okay. I bet the food is really good in the South of India.
Spicy, very spicy. And so her mom came, and so her mom used to make food and bring it to me when I used to go to the Toronto Salsa Festival. So she used to make me the specialty from the South, and she used to bring it to me and come, you know. We got some great stories, me and her mom. So the carpet experience was with Magna. I watched this video not so long ago, actually. Back in the days, we danced. When there was space, we just used it. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many people I've danced with that I really, really like dancing with on the carpets with. But what's happening now is with these media guys bringing their cameras and sticking it in your face. They're ruining that experience. You know what I mean? Let's just say I've just taken a girl and gone out to have a dance, and then you get this guy with a camera in your face. Immediately, I'm nervous. She's nervous. Everybody starts watching us, and we just wanted to have a social dance. You know, we just wanted to dance, and it's ruining some experiences out there. So I literally, before the pandemic happened, I actually told one of the guys, I was like, please leave me out of this filming these days. I don't want to be filmed. You know, I just want to dance. So.
I don't, I don't totally agree, but I think part of it is that I've seen the entertainment businesses and the social media business change so much.
Absolutely.
I feel like each generation has less and less attached to having cameras on them. Like they basically don't care. Like they're so used to having cell phones and cameras around that people kind of become desensitized. And I love the idea of, I like the idea of people getting desensitized to it, just because I do want more people to see it. I feel, I so badly want to see salsa and partner dancing go to more people, not just the million odd people that are doing it right now. You know, it's such a healthy thing. It's such such an amazing community. But I know what you mean, that between the competitions and the performances and kind of the ramping up of that scene and the prevalence of cameras everywhere and people filming everything, it doesn't always end up making for a more sophisticated evolution, right? It doesn't always make
it takes away the enjoyment. It takes away the fun. You know what I mean? It's like, I know for a fact, I'm sure you've experienced this a million times. If you haven't, please pay attention next time, okay? You take a girl to go dance, and let's just say somebody brings a light and a camera to your face. Immediately the lady's technique, her hands, they freeze. She becomes tighter, more tenser. Now, when she becomes that, you're like, okay, I got to drop my dancing down a little bit to make her look good, because she's nervous right now. So you're holding on somebody who was light, and suddenly she's become nervous. And now you're not dancing the way you want to dance. She's not dancing the way she wants to dance. You both are just dancing for evolution. You know what I mean? For me, this is my personal experience.
I get, no, I feel, I guess I get nervous as hell. Like my girlfriend films our, back when we had socials pre-COVID, right? Like she is responsible for all the social media stuff, right? So she's always going, and she's really good about it. She does it on a phone. No one kind of ever sees her. You know,
that's amazing.
The back, but
that's how it should be done.
But when that camera's on me, I get fucking nervous, right? I don't dance.
You know why, right?
But it's almost like a challenge. Like I want to be able to live in that moment, like being on stage or something, but still feel the way I would feel. So I see both sides of it. I see.
That's you. Okay.
Like the challenge.
That's the way you want to feel. What about the girl you're dancing with? Maybe she doesn't want to feel that way.
I don't know. Next topic.
You're taking away that connection that you just created with this lady just before the camera came on you, right?
Yeah, but what if
it's all becoming one-sided? It all becomes one-sided.
Like, what if you were able to? I guess I really do like having to push through those obstacles. So, like,
absolutely,
I can get someone to relax, even though there's cameras, and it depends from dance to dance too. Like, you take a dance like Zouk, where sometimes people are dancing 3, 4, 10, 15 songs together in a row, like they do in tango, right? But longer. So like by halfway through it, they don't know fucking shit's going on around. They don't care who's got a camera, who doesn't. They're like in their world. So I like that. I love when people can still have the cameras on them and not care enough. But yeah, it makes 99% of us nervous 99% of the time. Like
I'm always nervous. I mean, it's not. I'm nervous because I don't want to make the girl look stupid. And you know, these days, everybody shares everything. So let's just say I do something and she falls down. You know that is going to make the news. It's not going to be like she fell by mistake. It's like Mario dropped her. Or, you know, what is this girl doing? It's bad for all. I don't care. I really don't care. You can put anything about me, anything I do. I'm all about that. But I feel for the other person, you know, it's not right. It's absolute. And this is I actually was in India in November, and there was a festival there. I'm not kidding you. There was a line of people like back to back standing to dance with me. It's okay. It's accept. Everybody had a phone, and everybody gave the phone to the person behind to film the dance. You know,
just to see.
I swear to God, yes, I felt like a prostitute. I really felt like, you know, that they're buying me, or it's like for the media, for the next day, man, I gave in to them in class. I said, like, look, I'm sorry, but that's not the way to do it. You want to dance, I'm ready to dance, but I'm not here to sell you or me to some people on the internet. I don't want to do that. If you want to film, I'm not going to dance with you. Following day, everything was good. We want to experience connection. We want to experience the social aspect of things, not the media aspect. I understand why people film me dancing with her without me noticing. I don't care. I can't stop that, right?
So you were absolutely responsible for lowering the sale of iPhones in India.
No, they will still sell some. Don't worry. But I was just telling them, like, what they're taking away from the dance. Okay, I said, like, great, you've danced with Super Mario, but it was not me. You were not dancing with me. You were dancing for somebody else.
You strike
Don't
me.
Get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's just I want to encourage people to keep that smile on their face, and not use their brains. Guys already go through so much pain when they social dance. It's like we don't want to add extra pressures on yourself, and these things add up to all that stuff. And then they'll want to look at themselves, and then they won't look good, and then they'll drop their confidence. And we as teachers, we build people's confidence. It just takes one moment of stupidity, it just kills everything, and I've seen this firsthand. I have a beautiful dancer in London. I mean, this guy right now, he's creating lines everywhere, but he just saw himself dancing once with somebody. He was depressed for like 2 months, and stuff like that I've seen happen. So anyway, that's just my opinion.
I find your approach refreshing. I like it. I like that you're a purist about it. I think I social dance so little these days. Like the rigors of running a studio.
Absolutely. 40 instructors.
And man, it's been the whole COVID thing, and
I'm sorry.
Life goes on, and I actually think, we're going to go someplace super cool from this, but the last month right before COVID hit. So COVID hit the States in March, right?
Yeah.
So 2 weeks before, like the 2 weeks before March, my partner and I decided to take out a billboard, like a side of the road giant billboard, right? Just cost ungodly amounts of money for the month, and it came out in March, so it couldn't have been worse. We had this giant billboard on the side of the road with our school, and COVID was hitting, and no one was driving.
I will say something. Do you believe in God?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I believe in God very much, and I believe everything happens for a reason. And I have been noticing this for a few years now, that everybody's taking everything we have for granted. Everybody, performers, social dancers, instructors, people traveling to other countries. It's like, okay, from London, they were like, I'll see you in Croatia next week. Without making Croatia sound wow, without making it sound like it just became a habit that people were using. You know what I mean? Even if you don't believe in God, I believe that everything happens for a reason. I'm being very positive right now. I'm also losing money. But you know what? Sometimes I think we all as humans, we need to take a break from everything. You were probably overdoing it. You were probably killing yourself. You were not social dancing. You're missing that, right?
I really do miss social dancing, Mario. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're missing your students. I mean, you probably were not before. I don't know, but I'm just saying everything right now we're going through, it's a small phase that we have. It's just a reset button that everybody needs to take. So when we come out of this, trust me, you will get 4 times more people than you had before you closed. People who did not want to go to class anymore because they thought they were all that and blah, blah, blah. They all want to restructure themselves. And I believe in that very much. And I believe that this is all happening for a reason. I've never spent so much time with my wife before. I've always been on the road. Every Friday, pack a bag, I'm out of here. Monday, I come back tired. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I teach, repack, I'm out of there. But now I've been with her for 8 weeks, and it's like, wow, this is a different part of my life that I've never been able to experience. And I'm seeing good things in everything. So every negative thing that you tell me, I'll find you something positive.
Thank you, brother.
That billboard is going to be, you know, for you, it's a waste of money. I'm so sorry that you're losing money right now, but trust me, you will get back 10 times more than the billboard cost you.
I believe it, and I do. Thank you for those words. I really I relate to that. I can feel it. I do feel that reset that we're all going through, and I really do experience on a daily basis the value of partner dancing. You see it intrinsically in terms of how worthwhile it is. I even think I can't prove this, but I've heard partner dancers say they feel like there have been very low cases of COVID within the partner dance world, partially because we spend so much time building up our immune systems by holding someone's hand. And,
right, energies.
I mean, by that, probably sensual bachata dancers have a better immune system than we as salsa dancers do, just because of the close position. But I don't have any scientific proof for this one, and I'm talking to a mathematician here, so I'm going to.
Sure.
Where are you at right now?
Huh?
Where are you at right now? Where are you physically right now? Are you in what country?
Oh, I you know, I'm a very positive person. I try not to create any negative energies around me. If I have students who don't want to be there, I literally go to them and tell them to leave. If I don't feel I'm comfortable with somebody in a group of people, I would literally walk away from that group of people. I don't like negativity. And one thing I'm very good at when I was studying was data collection and forecasting. I collect information. I love information. This here is full of information. Like, you know, I'm watching the news every day. I'm forecasting what's going to happen in countries. If you watch anything I post on Facebook, every negative thing that people say, I will go there and put something positive. And people always criticize everything I say. I don't care, you know? So for me, I knew that if I stayed in London, I'm going to be locked into a room. I would be locked in with my wife. I wouldn't be able to go to the park. I wouldn't be able to go for a walk or drive or whatever, you know? I know that it was going to be a very depressing time. So, and this was 2 days before they locked down London. I started looking already in Asia. I started saying, okay, festivals are out of the question. It's all going to be canceled. I got actually, during a festival, they canceled it. So I had to go back home from Düsseldorf. I knew classes are not going to happen in London. So I'm like, okay, what's the point here? I have nothing to do anymore. So let's just get the hell out of here and go somewhere to Asia. And it's summer in Asia. So I bought a plane ticket to leave on the Friday from London. But on Wednesday, the studio that I rent said we can't use the studio anymore. So I'm like, okay, this is not right. So I started going to Asia. India closed, Vietnam closed, Australia closed. Everybody started closing their borders to foreigners. Thailand was open. So I canceled the original ticket for Friday. I spent £2,000 more. I bought 2 tickets. My wife was at work. She came back home at 1 p.m. I said, baby, pack your bag, we're out of here. So we were on a plane at 6 p.m., 4 hours later. And we got to Thailand 4 hours before they closed the borders. So we just came here. We didn't have a hotel, nothing. We just arrived. The airport was empty. Took a taxi, went to a hotel. Didn't realize this was the best decision I've made in my life. Like, there's nobody in our hotel. We are the only ones here for the last 8 weeks.
Wow.
Not a single person, just the receptionist and ourselves.
Wow.
And the hotel costs about $300 a night normally because it's high season now. We got it for $40. 40 a night. So we're in heaven, man. I mean, the beach is like 10 steps away from me, and I'm with my wife. We're good, you know, and we have restaurants open here. The malls are open. I have a motorcycle. I go out all the time. It's hot, it's sunny, and you know, this is okay. I lost some money, but I don't care. You know, you can always make money.
That's a really, really healthy attitude. Is there any?
But you know, is there any
dancing in Thailand where you're at?
Right now, no. The city of Bangkok is closed. We are about 3 hours away from there, so it's closed right now. But last night or Sunday night, our prime minister locked it down for 6 more weeks. So we are going to probably stay for another 6 more weeks. And Asia's open right now, so I'm going to ask my wife if she wants to move from here to China or to Vietnam or somewhere like that, you know. And there's dancing there, so maybe I might find a city and just go just go to dance. I told her Bangkok opens, I'm going out dancing. It's 3-hour drive one way. I'm like, we going dancing, you know.
What
But it's a huh?
that is a cool story.
You know, sometimes you got to take risks. Sometimes, you know, things happen, and I'm still we zoomed with our students on Sunday night. You know, we didn't dance or anything. We just spoke with them for a little while, like an hour, and yeah, we're still staying connected. We're still staying connected. They're all missing dancing a lot. Uh, I know it's part of a lot of people's lives. I'm sure a lot of your students' lives as well. They probably came 3 or 4 times a week to class, and suddenly it's all taken away from them. You know, it's like, look, I'm telling you, just look forward to the day when you have to open. You're going to get so many hugs, tears. You know, people wanting to learn much, 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 much more than they did because they know this could happen again in the future. You know, they will come to all your socials and no excuses, no bullshits will happen anymore. You know, it's all going to be good. I believe in that very much.
I love that perspective, Mario. I really am touched by your story because I like how just spontaneous that was, just getting out.
It's the truth, you know. Truth always is the best story.
Yeah. So moving forward, as we come out of this, it's going all the things that you're talking about to do with the congresses, to do with what the essence of these dances are. It's going to really come to the forefront, I think, because we're going to have to open in a slower way. We're definitely not going to, I don't predict any big events happening this year globally. I don't think that most governments are going to allow hundreds of people to social dance, you know. So I feel like there's going to be a return to that, to some of the things you're talking about. Plus the information and the classes online available now is nuts, right? Like you can.
Oh man, look, I was having this conversation with I don't know, somebody, I don't remember who. It's just Terry and me, you won't see shit from us. Nothing.
So Terry's not teaching online classes? Maybe that's
why we don't want to.
My phone calls,
we don't want to. We don't want to because we are partner dancing specialists. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there that are solo dance. How many shines are you going to learn, bro? How many shines are you going to learn? I mean, what is the purpose of that million shines, you know? It's like, and people jumped on this bandwagon too fast. They never gave time to people to readjust to a living condition that has changed. Stuck in a house. You can't go out as much as we wanted to suddenly being like, okay, let's just take a million dance classes online. You know, I mean, they've just made people tired right now. Look, I know me and Terry, we're going to get a shitload of work when we come out, touch wood, because partner dancing, everybody wants to go learn that skill again, you know, and we're okay. We look at this in a good way. He's spending time with his family too. His wife is pregnant again, and you know, and it's he's spending time with his family, which we never did.
So Terry is barefoot pregnant.
He already had a baby already, but she was pregnant pre-COVID.
Terry
I know.
Barefoot, so I'm going to offend.
No, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. I forgot my chain of thought. Yeah, doesn't matter. We're in a good place. We're spending time that we wanted. We always bitched, you know. We're like so tired. Every Monday we go in a car to the airport. We're like, oh my God, this is just, you know. And I guess this is what we were asking for in a different way. We got it. But talking about festivals and stuff like that, I believe it's going to be this year. I believe there will be festivals this year already. I mean, it's not going to be the massive big ones that you're used to, but I was talking to the festival organizer from Warsaw. So the government's going to allow us in numbers to come out, right? So yes, maybe it'll start with 50 when you open your studio. Maybe you have 50 people in each class. Maybe it's not going to be partner dancing or whatever, you know. Eventually by September, October, I think that number will become 500 to 1,000 people, you know. So this lady has a festival that has over 6,000 people coming. 6,000 people. And she came up with the best plan ever. and she said it on social media, so I can. It's not a secret anymore, so I can tell you this. So she's going to rent out 4 hotels, and she's going to have 1,000 people in each of them instead of having 6,000 in one place. She's going to have 1,000 people doing salsa, 1,000 bachata, 1,000 this. So it's an idea for you guys or your West Coast community or whatever. If you guys are stuck in a position where you used to get mass numbers and you cannot do it in one place, separate it out. Like do 500 here, 500 there, things like that. There are ways around. Just got to think positively. That's all.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're looking for ways right now to kind of begin somehow, we're constantly looking for what that process is going to be. We care about it a lot because it matters to the public. There was a lot of social pressure to close at first, and that like the public is somewhat divided as to their opinion of basically half the people, they'd be dancing right now, and then the other half really wouldn't and might be slower to come back to it. But one way or another, we'll all kind of wind our way back to it. I really like your message.
Half the people who want to come dancing are probably the people who don't watch the news. The other half who are scared are probably watching the news. It's just the fear out there is just a lot, and I understand it's an acceptable fear because one of my friend's brother just passed away, and from COVID, and he was a very healthy guy, and bless his soul. So for me, every time I think it's a conspiracy or this is bullshit or whatever, I think back to the other side, like, okay, we know somebody real who passed from this 6 hours after he was admitted in hospital. So I'm in the middle right now. So, I'm like, whatever we have to do, I'm sure we'll have to do it in small pieces, but it will be good. But the unfortunate problem we're going to have is if they allowed only 50 people in a class, you have to choose from 200 which 50 comes in, and that's going to be hard.
It's going to be like lottery to get a green card or something.
Something like that, yes. It is going to be. You have your whole establishment is one building?
It's one building, 5 rooms.
What I would start doing if I was you is start looking for other places, just temporarily rent other studios or other buildings or whatever. So if you were allowed to have, say, 100 people, you can't have 5 studios. You know what I mean? You use another building somewhere and put another 100 in there, or find another place and put another 100 in there, and divide your instructors in various places. That's what I'm planning on doing when I get back to London. So I'm already looking at spaces right now.
Very cool. I love that you're using ingenuity about that. I really like the spirit of what you're saying about social dancing. And obviously, without those hours and hours of social dancing, you can't really do it. Like it's so intrinsic to it, to what
it is all about it. Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful message. Mario, I really appreciate having you come on.
Thank you so much for
show. It's good to meet you. I really feel honored to have you. I feel honored to have all the people that I've had on this show.
Sure. We're all happy to be here. I mean, right now, people are like,
I want you personally to call Terry tonight and tell him to return my call. I want to get him on the show.
Oh, you've written to him already?
I think so. He's probably gotten a million messages.
On Facebook or?
I don't remember.
On Facebook?
I think Facebook. Yeah.
I think he has somebody called a manager who takes care of all that, because he feels bad telling people, yes, no, these are my charges and stuff like that. So somebody else does that. So it's the manager that you need to pressure, not Terry.
Well, you need to call him up and just say, Terry, look, if you're going to do one thing this year, is I want you to get on the Con Todo live stream series, because that dude Vasily is just the shit. He's an amazing. It's going to be like nothing else you've ever done in your life. He's going to talk about your bare feet all the time, and it's going to be special. Mario, man, thank you. Do you have any last messages? You've kind of said it all. I love everything you've said. Do you have any last messages for people who are?
I just want to tell everybody, it is a tough time in the world, and I think the world has seen worse things before. There's been wars, world wars. We've been Spanish flu. We've had much worse things before. They all came out of it. Don't rush. Just take your time, relax, enjoy your time with your family, because I think they're the most important things in our life. And if God is giving you a chance to do that right now, use it. Yes, we all miss dancing. I miss teaching so much. We will all come back, and it'll be much bigger, better, more positive. Trust me, people will appreciate it's like a second chance, you know what I mean? And whenever you get a second chance, you always value it more. So just stay strong, stay safe. It's very important to stay safe. Follow whatever guidelines you guys have in your countries, and everything will be good. I'm sure we'll see all each other on the dance floor, or maybe not then, maybe on the internet somewhere.
I look forward to it. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You stay safe too. Enjoy Thailand and wherever else you and your wonderful wife are gonna be off to. And we'll see you on the dance floor soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vasily. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Mario.
Bye. Thank you.